1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome into the Frangie Show, a Friday edition. Frank is wrapping up his vacation one more day, and then he'll be back with this on Monday. JJ, it's just you and I today. Buckle up, because this could be the final radio program that we have at 1010XL.
Oh, don't say that.
You just never know what is going to.
I got bills to pay.
Transpire. Well, that's a good point. All right, I'll keep it clean then, and we'll just do a standard sports show and get.
Well,
out
now
here,
that's disappointing.
Yeah, but we'll have a lot of fun, and we got lots to get to today. Mark Long's going to join us in our next segment. Mark obviously covers the Jaguars and Gators for the Associated Press, so lots to get to with Mark. His early impressions of the Jaguar OTAs. We'll certainly ask him about Alex Condon returning. What does that do for the basketball program? Does he believe they have a chance to repeat? And we'll also ask him about DJ Lagway. Mark's been very pointed in his comments about DJ Lagway, but we haven't talked to him in a while. So, what has he heard? What's the intel from Gainesville? So that'll be fun having Mark at 4:20 to talk Gators and Jags with us. Pete Prisco will join us at 5 o'clock, as he does most every Friday, so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk Jaguars. We'll talk all things NFL with Pete, get his opinions on a variety of things going on in the league, and also here locally with the Jaguars. So it's going to be a fun show. I want to start with the Hunt, the Jaguars digital staff. It's amazing. And they'll be the first to tell you, well, we're getting more access. That's the biggest thing. We're able to show more. So yes, they're working with a better piece of clay to mold because of the transparency of this new administration. Tony Baselli is EVP, James Gladstone is general manager, Liam Cohen is head coach. So I get that, but it still is a remarkable piece of filmmaking, what they have put together. The tension that they are able to build for an event that is transpired and is how it's going to end. I mean, we all knew that watching it last night, or whenever you watched it, it came out at 7 o'clock last night. If you haven't seen it yet, I can't encourage you more to check it out. It's about just under 40 minutes long, but I think it's fascinating, even if you're not a Jaguars fan, because it really does peel back a lot of layers on how a front office operates, getting prepared for the draft, particularly when obviously they're going to make the biggest move of the draft and one of the biggest moves in recent draft history, and moving from 5 to 2 to secure Travis Hunter. So I thought an exceptional job just with the filmmaking standpoint of it, and the editing and the production. But boy, I don't know that you learned a lot in terms of facts. This was more just reflecting on the process of moving up to make the trade for Travis Hunter. But my goodness, you got a really good read on James Gladstone. I'm saying this, I want this to come across as I'm complimenting him. But I keep coming back to almost bad examples. And I don't mean to do this, because I was incredibly impressed with Gladstone in this episode of The Hunt, hearing him talk through his vision and his philosophies on how to, be a GM, and also his communication ability. I thought that was a really pivotal scene early on. He's talking to scouts, they're a couple days away from the draft, and they're in the team meeting room, and it's a pretty big contingent of people. It looked like, 30, 35 people in there, and Gladstone's addressing them and thanks them for everything that they have done. That's tough, because he knows 80% of those people are getting ready to be shown the door as soon as the draft is over. That's just the nature of front office scouting positions, is their timeline is more draft to draft, not season to season like it is for a coach. But I thought Gladstone came across, he almost reminds me of like an arch villain. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Watchmen. It's based on a graphic novel. It came out like 15 years ago to kind of middling success. I like the film, but it's not like I'm not referencing Jurassic Park here or Spider-Man or something that most people have seen. But there's a character in Watchmen, Ozymandias, who is this brilliant person, arguably the smartest person on earth. But as the movie plays out, as the story plays out, he is actually the villain. Now, he's the villain because he's trying to get to a good means, a good result for humanity, but the way he goes about it creates a lot of cost. But it's just a character that's incredibly brilliant, thinks not just a few steps ahead, but 20 steps ahead. And when you watch James Gladstone, that is what you see. I mean, again, we're really early into this. We'll see the kind of success that the Jaguars have, but I'm not sure he's not one of the most compelling figures in the NFL right now. Obviously his age, and they talked about a lot of that in the hunt, him being 34 years old. But, I mean, I don't know that I've ever been around somebody or seen somebody that operates with this level of insight, self-awareness, ambition, which I think is really, really underrated in terms of equality, particularly in the NFL. This is the most cutthroat league in this country. And you have got to be willing to go for the throat. And James Gladstone, I think, has shown that. Liam Cohen has shown that. It's why I came around on the Liam Cohen hire. I wasn't a big fan when that was first being bandied about, but then he made sure Trent Baalke wasn't going to be here. That showed me he's got the cutthroat competitive mindset to lead men, to win games in a league that is steeped in parity. And I think James Gladstone fits right in with that. I mean, if you want, we've joked for years about, writing books, guys that, Trayvon Walker and things like that. You want to write a book about James Gladstone, because you are going to have a tale to tell. And again, no matter how it goes, I mean, to watch this episode, you feel like you're watching the genesis of like the next big thing in the NFL. Now, there's an optimism, obviously, that comes with that. And I'm an optimistic person. So I'm watching it thinking, I don't know how this is not going to work. And it's not just Gladstone. Baselli's done an outstanding job of building the right temperament in the building. He brings the right knowledge, the historical knowledge of the franchise, the personal investment in the franchise, and he is approaching his job exactly how he should, which is, how do I best service the general manager and head coach to make their dreams a reality? Because if their dreams become a reality, we're going to win a lot of football games. And Liam Cohen as well. Now, Cohen's the character that we've seen the least from to this point, but he's getting ready to be the star of the show once the regular season approaches. And so, that's going to be a lot of fun. But what we've seen out of James Gladstone, I mean, this guy looks like he should be running the CIA, not an NFL franchise. I mean, he just looks, he just has such a unique presence and expertise to him, and just his makeup. I was really impressed, and I hope it works. I really hope it works, because if you're a Jaguars fan, I don't know how you watch something like this and what you've seen from this trio in general in these 5 months since they've been, or 4 months since they've been in charge. But I don't know how you watch this and you don't get totally bought into them. We've been burned so many times. You try to be skeptical. You try to maintain that, a fair cynicism, because you don't want to look foolish again. You don't want to say, I think they've got the right thing going here, and it crumbles and disintegrates. And, but I mean, I'm surprised at how high my confidence level is with what they're doing, considering we're months away from them playing their first game. But I thought the Travis Hunter thing obviously was an incredible move. I think he's going to be a star. And I think I agree. I mean, with their point, I think ultimately when we get 3 or 4 years down the road and you see what Travis Hunter becomes in the NFL, the price that they paid to move up to get him will be microscopic. That's my belief today. That may not end up being what happens. In fact, the title of the episode is Time Will Tell, because that's how James Gladstone sort of wraps it up. If you haven't seen the hunt, I can't recommend it more. There's 3 clips that I really want you to hear if you haven't seen it or don't have access to it. Again, it's on YouTube, and now with smart TVs, you can watch it really on your just regular television set. But I really would recommend, particularly if you're a Jaguars fan, but even if you're just a football fan, it really was interesting seeing all the details of it. But let's start with James Gladstone. We're going to play a clip from Gladstone and then a couple of clips from Baselli for you. This was James Gladstone on the move to trade up to acquire Travis Hunter.
Early April, James came up with the idea. And all three of us love Travis Hunter and wanted to see him in a Jaguar jersey. To be honest, I wasn't thinking about, could we trade up? I mean, it kind of crosses your mind. James came to Liam and I. We're sitting in the draft room, and he says, we think about maybe making a phone call to Cleveland and New York and see if we can move up and try to get Travis. I pretty much immediately, at least in my mind, was like, why not? And if we have a chance to go get a generational talent, a guy who's trying to redefine the game of football as far as playing on both sides of the ball, I think it's a great idea.
I don't know that there was much expectation as much as it was just curiosity. And we were in the discovery phase, right? Exploration and, seeing if there was, in fact, a path to make it come to life. Once we got through the owners' meetings and established some initial lines of communication with all the general managers across the league, we were able to go deeper. And at that point in time, Andrew Berry and I were able to dive into what would become the framework for ultimately the move from 5 to 2.
That was obviously Baselli at the start of that clip, followed by James Gladstone. These next two clips will be Tony Baselli. Baselli talking about how James Gladstone, in his opinion, was born to be a GM.
A lot of people said a lot of things about James Gladstone. 34 years old, lacks experience, only been at one place, so on and so forth. His age is irrelevant.
Parts behind it, and
I don't care if he's only been at one spot.
that has come from this group.
He was born to be a GM. He is focused, he's disciplined, he understands exactly what we're trying to accomplish, and he's a great communicator. And just at his core, it's natural for him to collaborate and bring everyone into the process. So everyone feels ownership in what we're doing. And that's what great leaders do. Don't underestimate him.
Look forward to
I mean, this is a dude who's a great leader, and he's going to be a great GM.
It's hard to argue. I mean, based on what we've seen from James Gladstone, which is ample. He's done multiple press conferences. We have now seen 2 episodes of The Hunt where basically he's leading the show because it's his time. The offseason is the general manager's time to shine. So, I feel like we're getting a really good look at how James Gladstone is operating as general manager, and I don't know how you couldn't be anything but impressed by it. Again, time will tell and the results on the field, but it's hard to argue. I mean, again, I am trying to keep a governor on this thing, and it has been toxic here. It has been dysfunctional here under multiple administrations. But boy, it's hard to see this not working in terms of what we're seeing so far. One more clip. They really do a great job of building the tension on draft night. Again, the Travis Hunter trade had to have Cam Ward go 1 to the Titans. And, that's going to be fascinating to see how that plays out. If Tennessee ultimately regrets not taking Travis Hunter, taking Cam Ward, that'll obviously be one of the storylines. Probably the top storyline from this past draft is we get 3, 5, 10 years down the road to see. But there was always that chance that the Titans might throw the ultimate curveball. Again, a new general manager there in Mike Borgonzi. Would they take Travis Hunter at 1, even though all signs were pointing to them drafting Cam Ward and moving on from Will Levis in terms of him being the answer there? I thought the filmmakers did a brilliant job of building that tension. Here is some of that. This is Tony Baselli talking about the tension waiting for the Titans to pick Cam Ward.
I think the most tension I felt was making sure Tennessee was going to pick Cam Ward, because that's what the whole deal hinged on. Wait, boys, just pick Cam Ward and get it over with. We knew, and we were confident that Andrew Berry and the Cleveland Browns were going to do what they said. We knew our position and what we wanted to do. So the only real variable out there was the Tennessee Titans and Cam Ward.
We did feel confident in our plan that was in place. He was the target the whole time. Everybody had buy-in from the top down.
Well, I probably had a different perspective than everybody. Because I have a history with the Tennessee Titans, and it not always going the way I wanted it to. Just make the right pick, boys. And so I was sitting there thinking, come on, just do the right thing. Pick the quarterback, pick the guy you've been going after. Let's not monkey around here. Let's get this done. And so, but you're sitting there just waiting. You're at the mercy of another organization and kind of what they're going to do. You feel confident, but you can't be 100% confident until you hear Roger Goodell say the Tennessee Titans select Cam Ward.
Again, I thought brilliant stuff from Jaguars Digital. And again, you have to commend Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, and Liam Cohen for allowing this access to be out there, for it to be shared with the fan base and create that special connection between this administration and the fan base. There was one other thing that occurred in this episode of The Hunt that I thought was really interesting. We've seen James Gladstone talking with Travis Hunter the day they brought Travis in for his press conference, the day after they selected him, and we've seen Travis sitting in an office with Gladstone, Baselli, Cohen, and in that meeting, we got another little glimpse of it in this episode of The Hunt, where James Gladstone's talking to Travis Hunter, and he says, "We've got you." And I don't mean that as we've acquired you. I mean, we've got you, and that we are going to fully support the vision that you have for yourself as an NFL player, is somebody that is going to challenge and change the boundaries of what is capable in this sport. So again, just another reminder, Travis Hunter is absolutely going to play a substantial amount on both sides of the ball. It will be fascinating to watch. Again, go check out The Hunt. If you haven't done so yet, I think you'll really enjoy it. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to talk Jaguars still, and we'll get into the Gators as well, as our good buddy Mark Long of the Associated Press joins us. You are listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
She's homegrown.
Your father's listening to the radio.
She's Jacksonville's sweetheart.
Oh, it's a little cheesy, but...
And she's one of the boys.
Just behave, okay?
She's Lauren Brooks. Noon to 2 on 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. If you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
Prosser here. Get those boats ready for the Dailies Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. It's Saturday, June 14th in St. Augustine. The entry fee, only $250 if you register by May 31st at oldschoolkingfish.com. The grand prize, a Yellowfin Bay boat worth $125,000, and with limited boundaries, no bait buying, and no checkout. It is seriously old school. That's why it's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. A reason this is one of the most popular fishing tournaments. Go to oldschoolkingfish.com.
This is Richard Miller with your Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles Update. Our next in-store signing will be with Jumbo Shrimp center fielder Andrew Pintar. Monday night, June 2nd from 6 to 7:30 p.m. One of the hottest hitting Jumbo Shrimp. Andrew Pintar, Monday night, inside Showtime. Sports Cards and Collectibles. Update your collection.
Frank Frangie here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue since 1949. Now, to thank all their loyal customers, Bono's is bringing back their Club 49 card. You can get a $500 gift card for only $350. That's a savings of $150. You can purchase your Club 49 card at any of the Bono's locations around town. And you want to get to Bono's soon, to get the spring wing deal. You get 6 wings and a side for just $11.99. Head to Bono's, and remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Share your voice anytime on the 1010XL text line.
Are you serious?
Installed by Lifetime Flooring.
I gotta say, you're totally blowing my mind right now.
If you can't call or email, text us. 641-1010.
Frangie here. I've known the Parman family for years, and what stands out is how they run Big Chief Tire. It's not just about tires. It's about showing up, doing the work, and taking care of people. That's the culture they've built over 4 generations. When you walk into Big Chief, you're treated with honesty, respect, and real hometown service. That's how Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling. Schedule your next appointment at WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Mayday, mayday, mayday.
Come in, Linda. Over.
We've got a sea of new vehicles and they're priced so low they're rocking the boat. Come check out our biggest selection of inventory with prices that don't break the bank and our wow-ya experience that will ensure smooth sailing for your next car purchase. Plus, take advantage of our peace of mind warranties, transparent pricing to provide you with a peace of mind. You better beat the surge and head to the all-new Beaver Toyota or Chevrolet for the car buying experience you deserve.
Hey, poker players, the Poker Atlas Tour is back at Best Bet St. Augustine from June 5th to June 15th. The Poker Atlas Tour features 7 events, including Event 1, a $300 no-limit hold'em tournament with a $100,000 guarantee, and the $600 no-limit hold'em title event with a $200,000 guaranteed prize pool. Satellites start May 17th. For more details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Listen all day as 1010XL gives you news, notes, and analysis of organized team activities as they get ready for the upcoming season. Our coverage of OTAs is hoisted by Heroes Lawn Care and Hurricane Grill and Wings.
What was George Washington's salary when he was president?
Filing an insurance claim following a storm shouldn't be an ordeal. Southern Oak Insurance's claim team prepares for catastrophic situations well in advance. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
George Washington's annual salary as president was $25,000, about $4.5 million in today's dollars.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours. Right now, they're on their way to disrupt your life, make you uncomfortable, and rob you. Don't bother calling the police. They can't help. That's right. Summer heat and humidity are about to attack North Florida again. You know what to do. Call Mike Merritt. Mike Merritt's Heating and Air has a license to chill. When heat and humidity are attacking you, Mike Merritt provides a comfortable chill at a bargain price. Mike has been keeping North Florida comfortable for 30 years. Mike Merritt technicians are never paid commissions, meaning you'll never be pressured to buy something you don't need. And Mike Merritt knows cooling issues can arise anytime. They don't just happen during business hours. So Mike Merritt never charges overtime fees. When you need us, we're here for you. Remember, in the fight against heat and humidity, Mike Merritt has a license to chill. Visit merrittair.com. Florida license number CACO 50384.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
All right, welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation. He'll be back on Monday, but JJ LaSelva is here. I'm Hayes Carline, and we are pleased to be joined with our good friend from the Associated Press. Mark Long does such an outstanding job covering the Jaguars and the Gators, and very kind to give us a few minutes of his Saturday afternoon. Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's Friday, not Saturday, but, you know, whatever. You got to – are you taping this?
What's that?
You said it's Saturday afternoon.
Oh, I said it's Saturday afternoon?
Yeah.
No, I think it's Friday. Are we still in May or are we in June?
We're on the verge.
Where am
Is this real?
Yeah.
Is this AI?
Is this the Matrix?
I thought maybe we were taping a segment for Saturday.
I just
I was a hacker all of a sudden.
I just have no idea what day it is. But that shouldn't surprise you. I mean,
You're
you've
already
known me
looking
for a
forward
long
to the
time
weekend.
now. I don't get wrapped up in the minutia of what day is it. You know, that's too specific
below you.
For me,
Very
yes.
below you.
But I do appreciate your time on this Friday afternoon. And boy, how about Gators baseball getting shelled right out of the gate by East Carolina, 11-6.
Unbelievable. Did he just make another pitching change? I mean, I saw 7. I'm watching the 7th inning, and I don't even know why I'm watching it. It's blowout. But it's like he's using his 7th pitcher, and not one of them had pitched more than an inning and a third. I'm like, that is a recipe for disaster.
Well, I guess at that point, when it's a rout, you're probably just like, let me save my best start, because they're going to have to win like 4 in a row now, right, to get out of.
He's throwing every freshman he has out there. Anybody who dressed is available to pitch. They're usually trying to get out of that game without using anybody who now has to pitch Saturday and Sunday, and maybe even into Monday.
Yeah. So not a good day for Gators baseball. But let's start with the Jaguars. Marco, obviously we haven't seen a ton of stuff. We've only seen rookie minicamp and a couple of OTAs. But just what are your early impressions of this leadership group, Baselli and Cohen and Gladstone?
Well, there's a lot to like. I mean, I love the fact that it's different, right? It's pendulum, right? You get one, it goes too far one way and it corrects back the other way. And it's totally different than anything we've seen. And I think that's Baselli's, it's kind of his MO. He wanted it. He's like, look, it didn't work the way we've done it for 20 years since my day. It hasn't worked. So why not try something different? So I love coming out there, and it's just there's a different vibe. There's a little bit different tempo. Baselli's up, from his perch with Gladstone, watching from upstairs, flipping the football back and forth.
Which is where they should be. I mean, I think that's smart. Yeah,
they're not down on the field. They're not trying to be coaches. They're not trying to be scouts. They're just being observers, and they're out of the picture. They're leaving the coaching to the coaches. They're leaving the playmaking to the players. And again, it's refreshing. It's different. I don't know if it's going to work. I mean, I hope. You hope. Everybody hopes that it's going to work, but we have no idea. But I like it because it's different. It would be, the definition of insanity is to keep running this thing back with washed-up coach after washed-up coach, the same tired way of approaching everything. And there is an energy, a freshness, and a little bit of a difference out there. And I'll say this: I have no idea why, Hayes, but I like that they moved OTAs starting next week to morning, 9 a.m. And my guess is, again, wild guess, that somebody said we are killing ourselves in May for no apparent reason. Why are we practicing from 12 to 2, the hottest part of the day in Jacksonville, Florida? And somebody wised up, whether it was the players or the coaching staff or the training staff, whoever, and said, what are we doing? We can do this in August and be fine. We don't need to do this in June. This is not Tom Coughlin. This is not that regime. It's totally different, and I applaud them for changing it up and switching things and getting in it earlier. I think it's going to be better for the players, better for everybody, better for me. That's really what I care about. It's just going to be cooler, and it is brutally hot out there for May. I mean, usually in May you get some moderate, temperate weather. We have gotten very temperate weather out there.
No, and I would agree. The other part of it too is it is voluntary. So, I mean, you do have to keep that in mind, I think, if you're the brain trust of, it's voluntary. Let's cool it in terms of the workouts and get some lower temperature. It was interesting just, in waiting after the OTAs as we were doing all of the press conferences. I mean, there were coaches having to wait and they were baking. I mean, they were like, my God, it's hot. I think it's one thing when you're sort of going through conducting a practice, your mind is sort of focused on, getting the drills the way you want them and making sure the execution is at a level you want as a coach. And then you're sitting there just waiting and kind of listening to somebody else, at the podium. And it's like, my God, it sort of hits you that it's hot. So any storylines so far in terms of the team? The weight loss was sort of interesting in terms of the key defenders, but anything that's grabbed you?
Yeah, that's probably number one. Is the defense looks like it's in shape, and I'm talking about. Trayvon Walker only said he lost 3 pounds, but he looks different. Josh Allen looks lighter. He was up there close to 280, I think, last year. So he looks a lot lighter. Devin Lloyd is the big one. who looks like he just looked heavy last year, and he looks lean. Right now, it looks like he could be an edge rusher. He's kind of built like Caleb on Chase on him a little bit more now, and you just want him maybe at a little bit more ideal weight across the board and see what you got. That stands out to me. It is very clear that this is going to be a different defense. They are not messing around. They're not out there. Here, the last 2 years, I just thought it was a shell game. They say one thing, they do something else. They want to be multiple, but they're not. This team, they're like adamant. Hey, we're going to play shell coverage. We're going to be a primarily zone secondary, zone defense, and it's going to be on the front four to get home. Boom. That's it. That's going to be their defense, and they're not out there saying we want to be multiple. We're going to give you a 5-down look, a 4-down look, a 3-down look, a 1-down look, and blitz from all over, disguise coverage, all that. I just think that gets complicated. So I think this, to me, seems like it's fairly here's who we are, here's what we're going to do, and we're going to be really good and fundamentally sound at what we're trying to do and see where that takes us. And they pointed to, Philadelphia the last 2 or 3 years been one of the best defenses in the league doing what Jacksonville's trying to do. A lot of zone coverage on the back end, a lot of shell coverage, and then get home with 4. The key there is getting home with 4, and that's not necessarily something they've been able to do very well, but they do believe Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen, Eric Armstead inside, that those guys will make a little bit of a difference up front this year with I would say I want to say better coaching, but just basic coaching, because I don't think they were getting very good coaching the last 3 years. So to me, I think that defense can really take a huge jump based on just getting competent coaching.
Without a doubt. And again, Mason Smith and Emmanuel Ogbah are two guys as well that I think can aid in that effort of only rushing 4. The other thing you and I were talking about after the practice the other day is, in regards to this, your linebackers show no indication that they can actually sack a quarterback anyway. So why would you blitz them? We were looking up the numbers, and, Oluokun, I think, has 5.5 sacks as a Jaguar, which is decent. But Devin Lloyd has like 2 and like 2,800 snaps here. And again, I understand he's not being asked to go after the quarterback on even probably a high percentage of those snaps. But still, it still seems like a low number. And then Muma and Ventrell Miller don't really, haven't at least shown that they can do it. I think Muma has 1.5 career sacks, and Miller is below that. So, that's the other part of it is, if you're going to blitz linebackers, it's one thing to blitz Jordan Lewis from the nickel. He's shown he can do that. But when he's got 9.5 career sacks, and your linebackers that are going to play for you, you think the most this year, have less as a group as Jaguars than Jordan Lewis has in his career, then you probably should rush 4.
Right. And go back to what I was saying earlier, is that you're getting told one thing and they do something else. We were told Devin Lloyd was going to be used more off the edge, be more, hand on the ground or on the line of scrimmage. Well, it didn't work. Whatever they were doing with him, it wasn't working. So I do like that. Hey, listen, we're not gonna ask him to blitz. We're not gonna put him on the line of scrimmage. He's going to be an off the ball linebacker, and we're going to see how that works.
The big news out of Florida this week: the return of Alex Condon. What does that do for the team? How much better do you think Condon can get with another offseason?
I think it makes them a top 5 team, and I want to see the team that you put over them. And again, I'm not trying to minimize their losses. They lost a massive amount when you look at Will Richard, Walter Clayton, and Elijah Martin all being gone. But I look at how they filled those. I love Xavier Lee. I love Boogie Flan. I love having those 2 guys in the backcourt. Not to be overlooked is the Ohio kid. Why is his name escaping me?
Oh, A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown, thank you. But that's, they got a formidable group that's going to replace us. Better probably definitely better assist numbers, and maybe even better rebounding numbers out of those guys. So they could, I'm not saying they're going to replace Walter Clayton, but I think that they could really fill that role. Maybe not quite, but they really could do a lot of things that maybe Walter and that group didn't do great. Now whether they can score, whether they can shoot the 3, that stuff remains to be seen. But I do think this team with Alex Condon back becomes a national championship contender because they're going to have an experienced front court. You can play through the front court. That was kind of they were pretty inexperienced last year and still, putting pieces together. Well, now you got the pieces. You know who the pieces are. You're going to start Houck at the 3. You're going to have Condon at the 4. You're going to have Chenyalu at the 5, and then you're going to bring Hen Logden off the bench. Man, that is a foursome that is going to rank at the top of the SEC, probably near the top, or if not the top of the country. And you're going to have to find ways to defend them. And to me, that's where it all is going to start. Now they might transition a little bit. I know Todd's talked about this already. They might go a little bit from playing through their 3 guards to now playing through the post a little bit more, something they haven't necessarily done a ton of.
Yeah, it will be really interesting to see how Golden handles it and just the embarrassment of riches that they now have in the front court. Are they done? Because, you're seeing whispers that they may be still in on Henshaw, the talented Australian player. Are there any whispers that maybe there's still another big addition coming to this? Because it almost already feels like a dream team.
Yeah. Henshaw was a little bit was Condon. They're good friends and Houck, and so it was always like if Condon comes, there's a good chance Henshaw will come and play with him. They have one scholarship, and Todd wants to use it. He talked about using it. They had a contingency plan if Alex didn't come back, but even if with Alex they had one more scholarship, and he does plan to use it, I would think it would be on a front court player, somebody to replace Sam Alexis, who didn't play a lot, but it was to give you a little bit of insurance policy. CJ Felder, I met him last week. He is not, he's not going to be a low post guy in the SEC. He's very slight built, big kid, 6'6", wing. So he's a little bit bigger than Will Richard, but certainly doesn't have the frame quite filled out. So I can see where, he's going to get in the mix, but certainly not in the post. So I would think they were looking for one more post guy would be my guess, whoever, how it ran. But it's got to be somebody who's willing to come in and basically sit, because when you look at those 4 that they have, you got to be a guy who's going to come in and say, okay, I understand that this is Houck and Condon, and they're going to go pro next year probably, and then I'll get my chance.
Mark Long from the Associated Press joining us, does a great job covering the Gators and the Jaguars. Let's get it to Gators football. What are the vibes? It seems like there's a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and DJ Lagway is where it all starts, right? He's throwing now. He's throwing, what is he? I think he's taking 210 throws a week, 70 a day, 3 times a week. So taking, your every other day, whatever it is, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever it is, 3 days a week, he's throwing 70 balls a day, getting his shoulder into shape. They start OTAs on Monday, and all signs point to him at least being on the mend and the shoulder feeling really good, which is best case scenario, right? So that gives you confidence right there. And then you go and you look at the receiving group, and it looks like it's the deepest it's been in decades at Florida, and that's saying a lot. But Dallas Wilson, what he did in the spring game, whatever it was, 10 for 195, or right around there, that was no fluke. This guy is a legitimate 6'3", 209, big kid with tons of speed, and he's going to be, I think he's going to be the trendsetter at that position, and they got a lot of depth there. When you look at Trey Wilson coming back after shoulder surgery, and you obviously Michael Sturdivant, you've got talent there. There's still young guys coming up, Hank Hawkins, the other kid from Tampa with Trey Wilson, not Tampa, but why is his name? Forget. Anyway, they got a lot of depth there. They got a lot of bodies, and Billy wanted, he thinks they got to have 10 to 12. That's Urban Meyer, theology, 10 to 12, 15 receivers. And, they're all of a sudden starting to get there. So you start all of a sudden, if DJ is going to be DJ and have those weapons to throw to, and the running game, the running game is going to be relied upon. I think the offense could be off the charts. And I look at the secondary, and I see, maybe some concerns there, but I think they're going to be really good up front in the front 7. So why wouldn't you think this team can build off of its 4-game winning streak and really be a factor in the SEC and maybe even be a sneaky playoff contender.
That would be nice. Mark, we certainly appreciate it, man. Great talking with you, and I will look forward to seeing you bright and early on Monday for a Jaguars OTA.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Mark. Mark Longer, the Associated Press, kind enough to join us on this Friday. Hope he has a wonderful Friday and Saturday. Again, that Jaguar OTA, it was interesting that Liam Cohen switched it up and moved practice up a couple hours. So, again, that is going to be a Monday morning practice. Not nearly as hot as it was this past week when the players were out there. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to get back to the Jaguars. We're going to talk about the possibility of having not only one receiver, not two receivers, but also a running back reach 1,000 yards. How hard is it? How much did it occur last season? What would have to happen for Liam Cohen in his first year to put up that kind of elite production? You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with The Frangie Show. From the Harold and Harold studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. When it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
There's something special about radio play-by-play. Always has been. In Jacksonville, your place for play-by-play is 1010XL.
This is Hayes Carline from my friend Holt at Harold and Harold. There doesn't seem to be enough time in the day to get everything done. Then you get injured in an accident and you don't know what you're going to do. Let Harold and Harold make it easy for you. Easy on becoming a client. You can just text or email if you want. Easy on finding a doctor and getting through the process. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold and make it easy on yourself. Call them at 904-251-1111. That's 251-1111.
Hey, don't buy a diamond at one of those big box corporate jewelers in the town center until you see what Beard's Diamonds can offer. Hicken here. Beard's Diamonds will give you a better price on a better quality diamond. Beards, they're not beholden to Wall Street. They are beholden to the people of Jacksonville. Why? Because they're the only locally owned jeweler in the town center. Yes, Beards has the best diamond selection in the region. No middleman prices on hand-picked diamonds. All shapes, all sizes. They also have the top bridal designers like Tacori and Verragio. And here's something else. Unlike the others, Beards doesn't have commissioned salespeople. Their experts get paid whether you buy something or not. So no pressure, ever. Their associates are diamond experts. They'll teach you how to buy a diamond the smart way. We're really lucky to have Beards here as a refreshing alternative. You get it all. No compromises, highest quality, personal service, no middleman pricing, and unbeatable guarantees. Beards Diamonds, the only locally owned jeweler. They're at the St. John's Town Center.
The Summer Starts Here sales event is back at Arlington Toyota. Why does Northeast Florida buy from Arlington Toyota? Because Arlington is the place to go for big selection. I'm talking over 800 vehicles, one location, and 60-day exchange. Plus, during Summer Starts Here, get financing as low as 0% on select new Toyota models. Or how about no payments until January 2026? Shop in person on Atlantic Boulevard, just a quarter mile east of 295, or online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache, Shinatri Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shinatri Chiropractic, 743-6700.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
Ryan and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows.
There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World,
simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Mia O'Brien is going to be the first woman president of the United States of America.
Catch me weekdays from noon to 2 on Helmets and Heels.
And she could run later this year even, and I would vote for her.
All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota on 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville Hicken here. I've been around the block or two, and Checkmate Coatings is who I call for my own place. They're my new MVP for stunning, long-lasting floors.
Brendan here with Checkmate Coatings. No massive overhead means top prices on top quality pool decks, driveways, garages, and patios too.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com today. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
It's not too late for a deep spring cleaning on your home. Give my friends at Zero Res a call. Mayhem. 3-room special starting at $149, plus the 4th room is free. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com and tell them 1010XL sent you.
Zero Res.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now back to a Big Chief Tire Friday on The Frangie Show. Big Chief Tire. Visit BigChiefService.com.
School is out for summer. This is the Alice Cooper Classic from 1972. Congratulations to all the students, all the teachers, all the faculty. You have made it. Enjoy your summer. Thank you, teachers and faculty, everything that you do for the young people in our community. We certainly wish you a tremendous amount of happiness in this summer break. It's well earned. The last day of school, JJ, how about that? What a great feeling that was. Remember,
it always
that feeling?
makes me think of this song. Makes me think of Dazed and Confused.
That's right. That's why I picked
always.
It. Yeah.
And those poor freshmen getting absolutely treated like savages by what's his name?
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, who is like getting held back and loved.
It's great when they go up to plead with the teacher, like to be let out like 10 minutes
and
early.
they're like getting off on it.
And he's a vet, and he's like, nah. Fantastic movie.
Yes.
But yeah, school's out for the summer. Again, congratulations to all the teachers and students. Be safe, enjoy it.
I'll see you at the beach.
Yeah, see you at the beach. But yeah, the one thing I wanted to touch on real quick before Pete Prisco joins us coming up in about 10 minutes, I wanted to talk about, I don't think it's preposterous to suggest that the Jaguars in year one with Liam Cohen running the team, running the offense, that they could produce 2 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard running back. Frankly, he would have done it last year in Tampa had Chris Godwin not gotten hurt. Godwin in 7 games had 576 yards receiving. I mean, he was well on his way to being over 1,000. Obviously suffers the injury on the hip drop tackle and was lost for the season. It's an incredibly difficult accomplishment to have 2,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard running back. And look, we're obviously going off of Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and then the running back is interesting in terms of who you would pick. I would pick Bashal Tutin, the 4th-round rookie if you were going to tell me that a Jaguar running back is going to get 1,000 yards. But obviously Etienne will have his fans. Bigsby will have his fans. It's interesting in looking at the difficulty of the accomplishment. So last year in the NFL, there was only one offense that produced 2,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard running back. It was the Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 1,263 receiving yards. Jamison Williamson barely got there. He had 1,001. And then running back Jahmyr Gibbs was incredible, had over 1,400 yards on the ground. So that was the only team that did it last year. There were 21 receivers that had 1,000-yard seasons. Devontae Adams can only count or really can't count for either the Raiders or the Jets. The Jets also had Garrett Wilson. So technically the Jets, you could argue, had 2, but I can't count Devontae Adams because, he had receiving yards in Vegas prior to being traded to the Jets. So only 21. It's a really hard accomplishment. It's even harder to get it on the ground. There were only 16 running backs that had 1,000 yards on the ground last season in the NFL, but one of them was Bucky Irving, who had 1,122 as a rookie, a mid-round rookie in Tampa Bay, working under then offensive coordinator for the Bucs, Liam Cohen. Irving had a sensational 5.4 yards per carry average, by the way. That is brilliant stuff. If that translates over, the Jaguars will absolutely have a big-time season if whoever their top back ends up being has that kind of a number, 5.4 yards per carry. So it's interesting. Again, it's this time of year. I'm optimistic. We have to see it. But, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is a really good bet if he stays healthy. Again, he was 3rd in receiving yards last year in the NFL as a rookie, playing under a complete toxic head coach and GM, offensive coordinator, play caller that is lucky to still be in the NFL, in Press Taylor, and had fluctuation at the quarterback spot with Trevor Lawrence's injury and Mac Jones having to step in late in the year. What Brian Thomas Jr. did last year is really nothing short of sensational for him to have 1,282 yards in the environment that he was in. Travis Hunter, I think it's simply a case of does he stay healthy? If Travis Hunter stays healthy, he is going to have 1,000 yards receiving. There's no doubt in my mind about it. His ability to separate, he's exactly what you need at the NFL level in terms of a receiver. Now, again, with the workload that we know he's going to have, can he play enough games to get to the 1,000 yards on offense as a receiver? But my bet is he will. So again, the missing variable is the running back. If it's a 3-headed committee with Tootin, Etienne, Bigsby, some combo, very unlikely that offense will produce a 1,000-yard rusher. But I don't think Etienne's going to be a big factor in this thing. I could be wrong. We'll see about Bigsby, but there's some things that he just simply can't really do that limits how much you can have him out there. And look, we know they wanted a change at running back. Genty could have been the pick at 5 if they hadn't been able to do the Hunter deal. So to suggest that Bashal Tootin couldn't come in here and do what Bucky Irving did last year, I'm not saying it's what you expect. You can't expect a rookie to come in and run for 1,000 yards, but this certainly looks like the template in which it just happened in Tampa Bay. So anyway, it'll be something fun to monitor. And again, if this offense is able to accomplish that, the balance it gives them, obviously that would mean the offensive line has gelled and they're getting the best offensive line play that they've had in a while. And it would also tell you that they have added the creativity, the innovation on offense that has been sorely missing from a previous administration that by their own admission was running the same offense that they'd been running in 2017. That is an eon ago in the NFL with how this league changes year to year. So it's going to be fun. Again, I will say Brian Thomas Jr., I would put it at an 80% probability he goes over 1,000 yards. For Travis Hunter, I'll put the probability at 65% that he goes over 1,000 yards. And I do think that there is I'll say, I think it's a solid chance. I don't think you can bet on it, but I'll say there is a 40% chance that the Jaguars produce a 1,000-yard rusher. We just don't know which that will be. My money is on Tootin, but again, certainly Etienne and Bigsby will have their believers as well. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to continue talking about the Jaguars and all things around the NFL as our good friend Pete Prisco of CBS Sports will join us. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It began with a dream.
Got my first job when I was 11. Worked every day since.
And turned into 1010XL.
Isn't that what the American dream's all about?
Hi, folks. It's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's Glass. Those beautiful custom glass shower enclosures, maybe a new mirror, a glass tabletop. They can even replace your foggy or cracked glass without having to replace the whole window. Lee and Kate's is local. They're family-owned. They've been a part of our community since 1926. Boy, they've taken care of me, including our brand-new offices at Walk-Off Charities. They did a great job. I promise they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
Are you ready to step up to luxury?
Check out the power of our exciting 2025 lineup, including the Lyric, IQ, Optique, and the stunning Visti.
With over 15 electric Cadillacs in stock and more on the way, it's the perfect time to trade in your Tesla and embrace luxury with a twist.
At Randy Marion, there are no tariffs. Visit Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, and see why our electric lineup turns heads.
Don't miss out. Drive Cadillac, electric or gas. We have both. Plus tax tag title $9.99 admin fee and resistol on approved credit.
When you're a little kid on the playground, they tell you don't hit back. Well, the courtroom isn't a playground. And if you've suffered an injury or death in your family, I'm here to tell you it's okay to hit back and fight to make them pay. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we understand all the pain and emotion that comes with being wrong. And we've dedicated our lives to making things right for people like you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law. Offices, Jacksonville.
Rotator cuff injuries are common among athletes and those who have physically demanding careers. Don't let this injury keep you away from the sport you love. Dr. George Barry here, and the first thing you need to do with a serious shoulder injury is to diagnose where the damage is and how significant it is. Rotator cuff tears are either acute tears sustained during an injury or accident, or degenerative tears. If you're interested in learning more about rotator cuff repair and how our expert team of orthopedic surgeons can help you, call Barry Orthopedics today or visit barryorthopedics.com.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Put the ball in the net with 60 Minutes of Soccer Talk, the Coaches Show presented by Sporting Jacks. Cole Pepper, Sporting Jacks head of soccer Mark Warburton, and Sporting Jacks women's coach Stacey Baylor. Tuesday evenings at 6 on 1010 a.m. The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Are your monthly bills keeping you up at night, wondering how you got so behind? Hey, I'm Roger Moore, CEO of Loan Pronto. I get it. Life is expensive now. Insurance, groceries, cars. And then there's the credit card debt with those obscene interest rates. It's time to regain your financial freedom. And that's what we offer at Loan Pronto, using the power of the equity in your home. We have multiple ways to get you the cash you need, and most clients close in 2 weeks or less, and many don't even require an appraisal. And listen, rates have been plummeting recently. We just locked the homeowner in with an APR in the low fives, saving her over $1,000 per month, and put $10,000 in her pocket. Life-changing money. Whether you're drowning in debt, have a nosebleed rate you got last year, need home improvements, or simply need cash in your pocket, we can help you accomplish this goal in record time. Call us today and get started with no hard credit pull, just a conversation. LoanPronto.com, 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com.
Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Want a simple way to boost your company's image without a big renovation?
fresh paint job in your brand's colors can increase recognition up to 80%. At Performance Painting, we help companies stand out with clean, on-brand finishes that impress clients and energize employees. From color consultations to low-odor coatings that won't disrupt operations, we've got you covered. Visit performance-painting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, you have told us about buying better quality diamonds, but is there any way to start with a smaller diamond and use it to trade up to a larger diamond later on?
Frank, it's interesting you'd ask that because our founder, H.F. Underwood, popularized growing your diamond here in Jacksonville about 50 years ago, and it's something we still do today. When a customer buys an Underwood engagement ring or solitaire diamond pendant or a pair of ear studs, we guarantee they get the price they paid for it on the purchase of any larger diamond. Now, a lot of stores would say, big deal. We do that too, but here's the Underwood difference. We guarantee you get what you paid when you trade in your Underwood diamond, even if you're trading up by only $1. It's not that you have to trade up 2 for 1 like most jewelers ask. There have been literally thousands of people in the Jacksonville area who have taken advantage of our policy, and Underwood still grows a lot of diamonds for a lot of people.
Underwood's, serving excellence since 1928. In San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Kuhn Flowers. The Florida Panthers are looking to repeat as Stanley Cup champions, and they now have their matchup set. Looking ahead to Game 1 of the final June 4th, the Panthers will start their rematch with Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Last year in the final, the Panthers cruised out to an early 3-0 lead in the series before the Oilers came back fighting from their deficit and won 3 games straight to take it to a Game 7. The Panthers prevailed and hoisted Lord Stanley for the first time in franchise history. This will be an electric matchup filled with revenge, physicality, lightning speed, and skill. Hockey fan or not, the series will be a sheer test of competition that any sports fan won't want to miss out on. It's 87 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Time for all things Jaguars and NFL with Pete Prisco. The Prisco Report, presented by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Showtime.
On The Frangie Show.
We appreciate our friends at Showtime. JSA will be at Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. to authenticate your autographed items. JSA is a leader in the collectibles industry in autograph authentication and registry. For the best in vintage cards as well as terrific autographed items, head to Showtime at the corner of Phillips and Shad Road and find Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Pete, how about those Panthers?
It's amazing, man. That's a good team. I told you guys they're the best. They're the best team. I mean, I don't think there's any question about that. You know, don't get me wrong. Edmonton's got the best player.
Right.
Connor McDavid's clearly the best player, but the best team and the deepest team is Florida. I mean, they're across the board. They have so much talent, and if they don't win it, I will be astounded.
Wow, how about that? Yeah, it's a challenge. It's a rematch from last year, but I'm with you. It'd be hard to go against Florida with how well they've been playing. And boy, I was also looking. I don't get into. I'm not a huge NHL fan, but boy, it seems like from a cap standpoint and it seems like Florida Panthers could just be sort of getting warmed up.
You know what it is? They have the core of that group that's been there for a while. You know, they went out and traded to go get Tkachuk. A couple of years ago, they got beat by Tampa in the playoffs, and they didn't have the toughness, and they were pushed around. Then they went back the next year, traded for Tkachuk, went to the finals, and they weren't a great team that year, but they made it there. And then last year they were really good, but this team's even better. And I think they're deeper. Getting Marchand from Boston it kind of puts them over the top.
Yeah, a great move, no doubt about it. And let's start looking at the NFL and the Jaguars, but the NFL on the whole. Because let's start with Pete. Everybody looks great. I mean, I think I saw somebody, a wise man, tweet earlier this week. every surgery was a success. Every player is fitting in well with the new scheme, and everyone's going to have a career season and win the MVP, right?
You know what's amazing about it too, Hayes, is when you see all these reports coming out, and then you have the aggregators who take stuff and what they've been doing to Travis Hunter. I mean, I don't understand that. Everything they do is to try and send out negative stuff on him.
It's moronic.
Good. And look, the reality is, in talking to people around there, that he's been everything they thought he would be and more.
Absolutely.
And, he had the one practice where you guys were out there where he dropped the ball. But look, he is going to be a special player. I don't understand what these aggregators do to try and get clicks. It makes no sense to me. So, yeah, back to your point, everybody's great. They're all playing in underwear. I call them the boys of summer, and we've seen that before. There have been guys that come into the Jaguars, even back in the day when I was covering them, they looked like they were the star of stars in the summer. And all the players would look around and go, yeah, wait till we get the pads on. And when they got the pads on, that player wasn't the same player. So you got to read into this what you will. You can see some good things in skill players. Like De'Ami Brown's looked like a great player from everybody, a big-time player for them from everybody I've talked to. So it looks like they're going to be explosive on offense, and it looks like they're going to score a lot of points because I think the quarterback's going to take the next step.
Do you think defensively they could make a big step forward?
Well, there's guys that have to step forward, and Mason Smith being one of them. He looks like a different guy. His body looks different. He looks much bigger. There's a lot to like there. So I think if they can get the interior of that defensive line kind of better, stop the run, then I think they'll be much better as a defense. I think there's talent there. They're probably another draft away from being a dominant defense and a free agency, but I do think there's talent there.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I think it's going to be fun to watch, and I think in terms of Trayvon Walker, Josh Hines-Allen, Foye Oluokun, Tyson Campbell, I agree. Mason Smith, Eric Armstead playing a more natural position. It seems like the talent is better than what the stats have shown. So hopefully this staff can harness that talent and guide them to better results.
And they're probably you saw Walker come out and he's leaner. They're leaner. Remember they made him gain weight last year. And you've heard the story. There's a story around. I don't know if I haven't had it validated where they threw meat on the table, hamburger on the table, and told him you got to get bigger. It was like have you heard that story?
Yeah.
Where, I mean, what are we doing?
Right.
What are they doing? I mean, it was such a bad coaching staff in a lot of ways, and I think that showed up. So yeah. I think it's definitely going to be a different defense, a faster defense.
Yeah, let's talk about the not maybe blockbuster storylines in the NFL, but some interesting, I think, potential moves and some moves that have been made. Let's start with a potential one that was sort of gaining steam today. The Steelers trading for Jonnu Smith, the talented tight end from the Dolphins. That was a real surprise story last year. Would you like that move for either side?
Well, from the Dolphins standpoint, it's just, getting rid of more big contract and not wanting to give them another one, and so it makes sense. From the Steelers standpoint, Arthur Smith's their offensive coordinator. He had him in Tennessee. He had him in Atlanta. So he knows him, and he's familiar with him, and I think he's attracted to him. So I do think that one would make some sense. The Steelers have realized, they look around their organization, and you traded George Pickens. You went out and got Metcalf, but what else do you have? They got to get some weapons in that offense. So I think they're looking for a lot of weapons, not just a tight end. They're sniffing around some wide receivers as well.
Are the Dolphins a sneaky choice for maybe being one of the worst teams in the league, or is that too strong?
No, I mean, worst team in the division, maybe.
Yeah.
You look at that division, I think New England's on the rise. I think Buffalo is the best team in the division. I think the Jets are going to be better. But Miami, when you look at their defense, there's a lot of concerns. You look at the secondary; they got a lot of guys back there that haven't done a lot, and so that's a major concern for him. Is the offensive line? Patrick Paul, who I like as left tackle, but he's a second-year player to step in and start at left tackle. So there are reasons for concern with that organization. So will they be one of the worst teams in the league? I don't know if they'll be one of the worst, but I think they're at best middle of the pack.
The 49ers and Eagles worked out a trade earlier today, sending defensive end Bryce Huff from Philly to San Francisco. Man, San Francisco has really invested a ton this offseason in rebuilding their front. Do you think that'll pay dividends?
He didn't play at all last year. I mean, he's been one of those guys. He was a spot pass rusher with the Jets. Then he went over there, and he barely even got on the field. And they didn't like him. And then he didn't show up, and they really didn't like him. And so, when healthy, he's a guy that can, help in, spot in, and rush the passer. But again, and dedicated to the craft, that's the other part of it. But you know how the 49ers are. They always find a way to get pass rushers who can come in and be productive. It wouldn't shock me to see him be a situational guy who gets 5-6 sacks somewhere along the line.
There was another report that I saw today in regards to Kyle Pitts, the tight end in Atlanta that's been one of the biggest underachievers really since he entered the league. Where do you think there's something to Kyle Pitts? Is there still upside there? And would it make sense for the Falcons to go ahead and move on from them if they can get a pick that's even remotely what they're looking for?
I mean, I think there's upside there. I just don't know how tough he is. That's the one knock on him. Is he tough enough? Is he a guy that's physical enough? And does he get thrown around a little bit? So I think that's the knock on him. And the Falcons, there's been rumors about him being peddled for a long time. And why hasn't he been? That tells you there's not a great market for him. But Atlanta, I think, if you're doing what you did this year, you're going to try and build around that quarterback. I would try and keep him around just to see. And if it doesn't work out, then you can let him go.
What do you think happens with Buffalo Bills running back James Cook? And then I think we've mentioned this guy to you last week, but Trey Hendrickson, maybe not so much here for the Jaguars as a potential trade, but just in general, what do you think happens with those two contract disputes?
Well, I don't think James Cook's going to get a new contract. I think ultimately he'll play. I think Hendrickson will play as well. But let me start with Cook. I mean, they gave out a lot of contracts this year, a lot. And, rewarded guys like Benford and others, and he wasn't one of them. And then he was squawking about his deal, but he's a running back. And, the Bills have prioritized other positions. I don't think he's getting a new deal. I think he plays, and then he goes and plays somewhere else next year. As for Hendrickson, he keeps talking about sitting out. I don't believe it. I think the cooler heads will prevail. They'll end up getting a deal done, and he'll end up being, their starting defensive end. These guys all talk they're going to sit out. He's 30 years old. He's going to be 31 in December. You're going to sit out a year and let an earning year go out the window? I don't think so. So he'll play eventually. They'll probably both be smart enough to work out a new deal and make them both happy.
Where are you on the Colts quarterback? Do you think it'll be Jones or Richardson?
I think it'll be Jones. I think Jones will start the season at quarterback. I think, Richardson is so raw. I think it's going to take him a little time. We saw that last year, and I don't know if they have time. That regime needs to win. I think Jones will be the starting quarterback. Again, though, whoever starts is going to be looking over his shoulder the whole season. I don't think they're going to, be stuck on one guy. I think there's going to be a couple guys. Both of them are going to play a lot.
You look at the Colts, and they really do have a sound roster beyond the quarterback. Is there any chance that if they get to like week 6, week 7, and neither Jones or Richardson have really seized control of the job and are playing at a high level, could the Colts call the Falcons about Kirk Cousins if the Falcons elect to keep him for until the trade deadline?
Yeah, but if you keep him that long, I think you keep him. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he's your backup then in that scenario. I don't think you would go make a move in that scenario. But I think Kirk Cousins will be a factor if somebody's quarterback goes down. I think that's when it becomes an issue.
Great
in training camp, if a quarterback goes down, then we're going to have an issue with it.
Yeah, great stuff, Pete. We certainly appreciate it. Always enjoy your insights. And do you have a plan for the Stanley Cup final yet? Are you going to try and go to any of the games? Or
no, yeah? I like going during the regular season. When you go during the what do you call it? It's such a hassle to get in and out of there. So no, probably not. On the couch.
All right, me too. All right, well, enjoy it, Pete. We certainly appreciate your time. Have a wonderful weekend.
You got it.
All right, when we come back on the Frangie Show, we're going to switch it to golf because this PGA Tour Live merger speculation, it's gone on long enough. It's time to call it out for what it is. That's coming up next. You're listening to the Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Tensions build.
3rd and 12. Let's go.
Plot thickens.
We got to get off the field.
Crowds roar. Tune in and let the show begin. Your home for live play-by-play is 1010XL.
May is Military Appreciation Month, and Nimnik proudly salutes the brave men and women who serve and have served this country. As a thank you, they're offering an additional $750 off select new Chevrolets, and every vehicle purchased at Nimnik supports K9s for Warriors. So from all the folks at Nimnik, thank you for service and sacrifice. It's also truck season at Nimnik. Did you know that? This month you can save up to $12,000 off a new Silverado or get financing rates as low as 0%. That's right, 0% financing. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnik Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground ready for you to explore. And with their extensive selection, you're sure to find your perfect truck at Nimnik. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV, designed to go the difference. So you get the deal. It's truck season. All kind of trucks available. And in May, we celebrate the military. That's what's going on at Nimnik. Head there today. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
Prosser here. Get those boats ready for the Daily's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. It's Saturday, June 14th in St. Augustine. The entry fee, only $250 if you register by May 31st at oldschoolkingfish.com. The grand prize, a Yellowfin bay boat worth $125,000 and with limited boundaries, no bait buying, and no checkout. It is seriously old school. That's why it's the Old School Kingfish Shootout. A reason this is one of the most popular fishing tournaments. Go to oldschoolkingfish.com.
My son had a meniscus surgery a couple of years ago. Went smooth as silk. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. Was playing tennis in 2 weeks. This is Patrick Malarkey, and I highly recommend
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
David Garrard here. I've had the PRP treatment from Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, and my knees are really doing well. Platelet-rich plasma treatment may be the answer for whatever is hurting you.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
When it comes to your utility bill, JEA wants to help you use less so you can save more. We offer a variety of free programs, like efficiency and irrigation assessments that'll teach you ways to conserve energy and water around your home. Our alerts will let you know when your utility usage has reached a set amount, and our rebates can help you save when upgrading to more efficient appliances and equipment. Find even more ways to save at JEA.com.
Baloo here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Here you can see.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-345-2789. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-345-2789. That's 800-345-2789 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-345-2789.
Hey folks, Frank Frangie here reminding you the 4th annual Dailies Walk-Off Charities Golf Classic is right around the corner. We sure appreciate our friends at Dailies, always making it possible, and appreciate so many of you who have played over the years. And this year, we're back at Deer Creek Country Club Monday, June 9th at 9 a.m. with tons of prizes, auction items, and an awful lot of fun. You'll even meet some of our young walk-off players. Just go to walkoffcharities.com for more information. Can't wait to see you on June 9th at the Dailies Walk-Off Charities Golf Classic.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD. When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is RJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at kuhnflowers.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, Hammer Time with Hayes. Driven by Southside Kia. Online at southsidekiajacks.com.
The PGA Tour has won the war. The LIV Tour is a joke. It hasn't made any kind of dent in the sport at all. I can't think of one signature moment, one highlight that has occurred on the LIV Tour since its inception. They have talked about a merge. The PGA Tour has done a remarkable job of finding its footing in this battle, putting LIV in a corner and now throwing haymaker after haymaker. The PGA Tour dominates them in ratings. The PGA Tour is a much stronger brand. It has gotten stronger since LIV became a thing. And now, in terms of how they're going to resolve all this, there should be no merger. The PGA Tour should simply let LIV die out, whether that's a year, whether that's 5 years. But they're never going to be relevant. So there's no point in merging with LIV. You look at the players on LIV. How should that be handled? How should the PGA Tour handle players that are on the LIV Tour that want to come back once their contracts expire, which is going to start happening soon? To me, this is how I would handle it. It would be a case-by-case basis. But for the most part, this would be, if I was Jay Monahan, the PGA Tour commissioner, and the players that certainly will have a big role, the PGA Tour players that will have a big say in this, the leadership group, I would take Bryson DeChambeau back with no penalty. I think Bryson DeChambeau is the only one on the LIV Tour that has elevated himself as a golf talent. He's the reigning U.S. Open champion. He is starting to regularly contend in majors, even when he does not win them. And you can't argue that his brand has gotten bigger since joining LIV. Now, it hasn't been because of anything he's done on the LIV Tour. Bryson has just done a good job of being able to play at his best in the majors while playing on a joke of a tour. DeChambeau, I would bring back with no penalty. Everybody else, they would be starting from scratch. If you're John Rahm, if you're Cam Smith, if you're anybody that, would have had an achievement on the PGA Tour, Cam Smith winning the Players, John Rahm winning, obviously events on the PGA Tour outside of winning the Masters, that wouldn't matter. That would all be vacated. I would say you're no better than the college senior that decides to turn pro and go get his card. If you can earn your card, you're welcome to come back. But that's the penalty. You've got to go earn that card back. If I was the PGA Tour, I would strongly encourage sponsors to not give exemptions to former LIV players. Now, again, those are business partners, and you don't want to be too rigid with it. If you have a high-paying partner and they really want to have one of the LIV guys as a sponsor exemption, then fine. You don't want to have a hard and fast rule, but I would discourage it as the PGA Tour can. And and I would be all for the PGA Tour just saying we're not going to allow sponsor exemptions for live players that aren't qualified to get into our events. But that's between them and their partnership. I look at some of these guys. Dustin Johnson is a great example. He's one of the most talented golfers of his generation. He's a major champion, a multiple major champion. But one of the golf reporters, and I apologize, I can't remember which one, I thought made a brilliant analogy about Dustin Johnson going into the PGA a few weeks back. And he said Dustin Johnson is the equivalent of somebody who has sold the business. He still has to kind of show up for things as a figurehead, but he has sold his business. He is no longer invested. And that's how it looks. Most of these players, their games are atrocious now. They show up in these majors, they get embarrassed, and then they go back to golf irrelevancy on the LIV Tour, and we don't see them again. And that's fine. We've all moved on as golf fans. I don't need to see Dustin Johnson or Ian Poult, any of these guys, Bubba Watson that went to the LIV Tour. I don't need to see them anymore. The PGA Tour has a whole new crop of stars that are coming, and this is the main reason the PGA Tour should never merge with LIV. You're not losing any more players to LIV. That's over. No one is going to be dumb enough to leave the PGA Tour to go to the LIV Tour. It isn't going to happen. So if you're not going to lose any more of your current talent, and no one's left for LIV in like a year, I still don't know why Jon Rahm did it. Jon Rahm was like the last one to go, and he should have seen where this is going. And so if you're not in any danger of losing any of your stars to the LIV Tour, and you're not, why would you merge with them? So I'd let it play out. I'd see how long the Saudis want to keep LIV an entity. But if I'm the PGA Tour, I'm doing great, and I'm not worried in the least about LIV. So I'm very interested to see how that goes. By the way, another just fantastic PGA Tour event going on right now, Jack's event, the Memorial at Muirfield in Dublin, Ohio. And it looks like we're headed to a fantastic weekend of golf. Scotty Scheffler currently is solo fourth now at 4 under. He has put up consecutive 70s to start play at the Memorial. So 2 under again today. He is 4 under for the event, 3 back of Nick Taylor and Ben Griffin. Morikawa playing well. Jordan Spieth making a little bit of a move. So, it's going to be a fun event. I incorrectly said yesterday this is a no-cut event. There is a cut in this event. So it's projected at 5 over. The course is playing tough. So it's right now 56 people in the 72-man field will make it to the weekend, but it does have a cut. But it should be 2 more fantastic days of golf. And again, it's consistent with the PGA Tour. You're seeing fantastic tournaments. You're seeing big winners. We've had some amazing players' championships, and golf has a lot of momentum. And LIV has nothing to do with that, other than their one player, Bryson DeChambeau, who I do think would be an asset for the PGA Tour to take back. But other than that, I think the LIV Tour can just fade away. JJ, what do you think?
First of all, 5 LIV players finished in the top 15 in the Masters. I mean, Rahm and Hatton are really freaking good. DeChambeau's really good. We still have huge names that aren't contributing in the most recent majors, but I mean, still, Koepka and Cam are huge stars in golf. Are they? I don't care about PGA events. I care about the majors. The only one I watch is the Players because I live here. So I never really bought into wow, the PGA is doing so good. I don't know. Do they do good ratings? Does anyone care about the Memorial? I don't know anyone that does. So, I, as selfish person who goes to the Players, want those guys back here. I could care less about, who are these stars that the PGA Tour that I care about watching. I care about watching the majors with the best golfers in the world. I want DeChambeau. I want Rahm. I want Cam Smith. I want Koepka. All of them at the Players. Why would you not want that? That's what I don't get.
Well, I just don't think the PGA Tour should merge with LIV and incorporate team golf into the PGA Tour.
Well, I don't
and
want
I do
that
think the
either.
players that left should have to pay a penalty for leaving. I don't, and look, I think the Scotty Schefflers and Rory McIlroys and Xander Schauffele's and Morikawa's and Justin Thomas's and Jordan Spieth's, I think they feel the same way.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I don't care. I just want them at the Players. I don't care about if they're fined or if they take Saudi money or whose money. I don't care about
I get
any
that
of that.
as a sports fan.
And I don't watch LIV,
Now,
but
and-
I also don't watch the PGA Tour.
And we can disagree on. I mean, what has Cam Smith done? I mean, since he's joined
won
LIV,
the Players, he won the British Open.
Well, I know that, and then he joined LIV.
What has Max Homa ever done? You know, like I could go through a list of a million PGA Tour guys that have never even won a major. These guys are still big golfers. Like just because they haven't won a major in a couple years, I
just
still
think-
want to watch them.
Yeah, and that's fine. And look, I am not saying you shouldn't feel that way. All I'm saying is the PGA Tour should not merge with LIV, and I don't think they have any incentive to merge with LIV. I don't
know anything about the money, and I don't care about all that. Like just as a golf fan, I want to see the best golfers play each other.
Yeah, and even
the
like
players used to be able to say, hey, we have the best field in golf. And that's so not true. First of all the majors have a better field in golf now because they invite these guys. You can't not have the second or arguably best player in the world and be like, well, we have the best tournament. We have the best field. No, you don't. 5 out of the top 15 in the Masters are LIV guys. Like, I know you don't like it, but there's still good golfers on that tour. I wouldn't care if the LIV golf went away tomorrow. My point is, I want to see these guys play here. I want to see them all play together. You're not going to be able to tell me that J.J. Spawn and Rory McIlroy is some exciting playoff. I don't care about J.J. Spawn.
J.J. Spawn has charisma unlike anything I've ever seen.
Point, like, there's no star. You said another thing. You said that the PGA has built stars since LIV. Who? Name one.
The PGA Tour, I think, has incredible depth.
Name a star that, like, all in the last 3 years that is suddenly a guy.
Look at the year
now.
like Sepp Straka's having.
Dude, Sepp Straka's not a star, man. Like,
Well,
Sepp
but
Straka
that's
just
also
a random guy who's
because
been on the tour
PGA
for a
Tour
long
stars
time.
from 3 years ago are still playing at a very high level. I mean, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, Morikawa, Justin Thomas. I mean, yeah, I will listen to a Jordan Spieth hasn't done anything in
Neither
a long
has
time.
Justin Thomas.
What's that? Well,
Neither
Justin
has
Thomas
Justin
just
Thomas.
won.
I'm talking about the major. See, like in these PGA events, they're not even playing with the LIV guys. So, like, yeah, they're beating each other. How do you know how good the LIV guys would do on the PGA Tour?
Because they're not doing anything.
They're
as a
not there.
collective.
So how do you know how they would play?
Because I'm seeing how they're playing at the majors.
5 out of the top 15 in the Masters are from the LIV Tour.
I mean, that's always going to be misleading because that's the one where they took anybody who'd ever won the Masters. So obviously their game is going to fit. We'll see. I mean, the U.S. Open at Oakmont will be a great
Okay,
test.
well, what about
And-
Bryson and Rahm and Hatton just played really good in the there are always guys up there in all these majors. I mean, we even pick them in the things. Like, I want to see the best golfers again. I want to see the big names. I don't care about this guy that won last week and he's in first place in the tour again today. And like, I don't care. I don't care how bad you think they've gotten. I'd much rather watch Brooks Koepka play than J.J. Spawn.
Yeah, I think we're having two different arguments. I understand where you're coming from. I just think that it's in the PGA Tour's best interest not to merge with LIV and to let them die out, which I think is what's going to happen. And I think the players, other than Bryson DeChambeau, who I think the PGA Tour absolutely should welcome back, I think the rest of them should have to go earn it. If they earn it, great. Then to me that would be an acceptable.
Like, what do they have to do to earn it? You want them to go on the whatever that tour, that second tour, like the whatever it's called, the Triple
Corn
A.
Ferry. Yeah, whatever
So
you would have to
John
do.
Rahm should have to go on the Corn Ferry tour.
Yes,
that's. Okay.
I mean, whatever
That's
he
never
would
gonna
have to do to earn his tour card. But yes, that process should start for him at zero.
And like I said, these PGA Tour tournaments that are like the week in, week out tournaments, I don't know how many people were like begging to come back to the Memorial Tournament. These guys are making like $100 million to do nothing. Like, who cares?
Well,
they want to play in the majors. That's all that matters, man.
And that's going to run out. I mean, again, for a lot of these guys, I mean, Sergio Garcia, he's having to. He's not going to be
so
in the U.S.
old
Open. He's
washed,
having to.
Man.
Well, I mean, again, a lot of the guys on Live are older players, and I get that. I mean, I think the analogy that in regards to Dustin Johnson that was made going into the PGA Championship, I don't think he's alone in that. I think there's a lot of players that are like, yeah, I kind of sold the business and cashed a big check.
There's plenty of guys like that, but there's also great players at the top, though. Like, you can't. Nobody's going to sit here and tell me that John Rahm, Hatton, DeChambeau, Patrick Reed, like, you can't tell me that these guys are not good golfers. That's crazy to me, just because they're not on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, I don't think like a guy like Patrick Reed. He's good at the Masters, certainly, but I think I would be surprised
good on almost all the majors
if you see him as a contender at Oakmont or at Royal Portrush. I could be wrong, and we'll see. It's a fun argument. Again, I think I
just want to see him here.
Yeah,
I want to see the best golfers, man. I don't have like some political, screw these guys because they went to Live in Saudi. I don't care about any of that, man. Give me the best golfers in Jacksonville so where I can go have drinks and watch them play.
Fair enough. Let's get it to a break. I appreciate your input on that. That was a lot of fun. When we come back on the Frangie Show, one more segment to go. We will get it to Jaguars. You were listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The NHL Stanley Cup Finals are set, and it's a rematch of last season as the Florida Panthers will take on the Edmonton Oilers. Florida, the defending Stanley Cup champions, will be on the road for the first game. That'll be Wednesday night, and Florida 8-2 and 10 road games in the postseason. Edmonton coming off a 5-game series against Dallas where they took the last 4. The Oilers are minus 115 to win the Stanley Cup. Florida minus 105. The Conn Smythe Trophy futures, Connor McDavid minus 110. Sergei Bobrovsky plus 250, Alexander Barkov plus 425, Leon Draisaitl plus 800, Matthew Tkachuk plus 2,500. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the GBank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010XL.
Hey there, Jacksonville. With scorching temperatures just around the corner, it's crucial to ensure your AC is blowing nice and cool. Duck Duck Air Conditioning is here to keep you comfortable all summer long. But don't wait until the heat gets here. Our service techs are ready right now to handle any cooling issues you may have at your home or business. Call Duck Duck AC today at 904-862-6769 to schedule. That's 904-862-6769. Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Online at duckduckac.com.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise, free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This is Hayes Carline for Harold and Harold. I was at lunch with my good friend Holt, and he was telling me that sometimes a lawyer can get more from a case than their own client. I was surprised to hear this, but Holt said that doesn't happen with Harold and Harold. They'll never take a fee that is greater than their own client. When they say they treat their clients as a person and not a file, they mean it. Hopefully you won't need them, but if you're ever injured, call Harold and Harold at 904-251-1111. That's 904-251-1111.
Attention poker enthusiasts, get ready for unbeatable action at Best Bet with locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. Dive into the excitement with $500 high hands every Friday and $1,000 high hands every Saturday. And save the dates for May's table game giveaways. $300 every 20 minutes on select Fridays and Saturdays. Want in on the action? Visit bestbetjacks.com for all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Soft takes are boring. That's why I dropped the hammer on the Frangie Show. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes, weekday afternoons on 1010XL.
Driven by Southside Kia.
At Hurricane Grill and Wings, every day feels like the weekend. Fresh, never frozen chicken wings, tossed in over 30 bold flavors, paired with ice-cold beer and handcrafted cocktails. All in a laid-back, beachy atmosphere. And with every game on the big screens, it's the ultimate escape. And you're home for sports, too. Great food, cold drinks, and all the games. That's Hurricane Grill and Wings. Escape the ordinary and find your spot at hurricanewings.com.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and it's always great when you can replace a problem with a promise. And let me get right down to it. When it comes to Chad and Sandy and selling your home, here's a promise that you can count on. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Now, more. Spring selling season is here. Rates are down. Activity's up. Now's the best time in years to sell your home. Some homes are sitting on the market, though, and hiring an expert who can maximize your equity and minimize hassle is the key. Those expert agents, and I'm recommending them to sell your home, Chad and Sandy Newman. There have been lots of you out there on the First Coast who are taking advantage. Take David and Heather in Fox Ridge. This is out in Orange Park. We wanted to move to Keystone Heights to get closer to family, away from the city. We heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. What you hear is true. We got multiple offers and sold in 3 days for $15,000 above asking price. Call the local experts I trust and recommend to sell my home and yours. Call Chad and Sandy, 414-6200, ChadAndSandy.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
We've certainly had a fun Frangie show today. Frank is on vacation, but we'll be back on Monday. But we covered a lot of ground. We talked about the hunt. Again, I would encourage all Jaguars fans, if you haven't already, go check that out. A brilliant documentary. It's very well done and really gives you a great glimpse into the operation, but particularly General Manager James Gladstone. The episode revolves around the Jaguars trading up from 5-2 to select Travis Hunter and everything that went into that. And it's hard not to be very optimistic about where this thing is headed. We've got a lot of scar tissue from the previous administrations that we've either covered or that you guys as fans have laid down your hard-earned money to go watch and your precious time, and that hasn't been rewarded. But hopefully this is the right group. It certainly looks good so far. We talked to Mark Long from the Associated Press about the Jaguars and the Gators as well. Mark brought up a good point about Liam Cohen adjusting the OTA schedule. So practice this week was in the middle of the day. Basically, we were out there from noon to 2. It's the OTA on Monday is going to start at 8:50 and will be done by 11 a.m. So some adjustments to the heat there. Again, these are voluntary workouts. Makes sense for that adjustment to be made. But good stuff from Mark Long. He seemed more optimistic about DJ Lagway's health, which was a good thing, and raved about Todd Golden and where the direction of the basketball program is going with Alex Condon returning to the national champions. We talked to Pete Prisco at 5 o'clock. Always fun. Got into a lot of things NFL-wise with Pete. And so some interesting things that are being bandied about in terms of some veterans on the move, and some sticky contract situations. So good stuff there from Pete. And then we broke down the PGA Tour versus LIV, and in my opinion, the PGA Tour should not merge. They've got the upper hand. They'll continue to have the upper hand. And at some point, LIV will no longer exist. And at that point, the PGA Tour can figure out what they want to do in bringing those players back in the manner in which they do that. So it's been a lot of fun. JJ, in terms of, as we get into the weekend, we've got the Knicks forcing Game 6.
Yes,
so,
I wasn't surprised by that.
Yeah, I was surprised. I'd have lost that bet because I thought the Pacers were at least gonna hang in there, but it was Knicks convincingly.
Yeah, and I will be surprised if the Pacers lose Game 6, though. Okay. I mean, I'm kind of hoping for it just because Game 7 would be awesome, and waiting if things would have went your way last night, we would have had a week with that, which I hate how they pre-schedule the finals.
Yeah.
We would have had a week wait before any basketball. I'm really glad that didn't happen, so I'm just waiting for a Game 7 just to push it further along. But yeah, I fully expect them at home, Game 6, knowing we don't want to go back to New York for a Game 7. I think they're all in on this next game. The Pacers will be, so I expect them to win that. But Oklahoma City, man, I don't think they care who plays. They're going to destroy everybody the way that they've been playing on defense. They held the Timberwolves in a must-win game to 30-something points at half, 9 points after the first quarter. Just the largest lead of the game was 3 because they were winning 3-0 when it happened. Oklahoma City is a minus 750 favorite to win the NBA Finals, man. I don't know. I can't remember any time seeing something like that.
Yeah.
So I just expect them to roll through it in 5 games, which against whoever. Yeah, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, all great points. There was a really good ESPN story today that talked about OKC's similarities to the start of the Golden State dynasty, and it was really interesting. In fact, this Thunder team is even younger than the Golden State team that first reached the final, with obviously Steph and Klay Thompson and Draymond. So
Iguodala probably helped ruin that. The average age. Yeah, Joe C had a stat today that was this is the first team since the 2002 Nets where no player on the entire roster has more than they all have less than 10 years of NBA experience.
Yeah,
which is crazy. And it seems like everybody on the team is 25 or younger. They have made amazing draft picks. People love Paolo, but what's his name? Tall white guy is pretty damn good too.
Holmgren?
Yeah. Chet Holmgren. He had to sit out a year, which kind of hurt his career a little bit, but he looks great, man. He just drills threes. He's great on defense. Yeah, Paolo's still the better player, but it doesn't hurt having. I think that he probably fits more into Oklahoma City, Chet does, than if you just put Paolo on that team. So, yeah, they're stacked for the near future, the long-term future. Sam Presti is just probably the best general manager in all of sports right now, really.
Yeah. And
besides our boy here, of course.
Right, and they've got 2 first-round picks I saw and ample cap space.
Yeah,
so
they've made a million trades over the last few years, and they've just stacked these picks.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, in the world of baseball, in case you guys didn't see this earlier, Florida loses 11-6 to East Carolina in their opening game of the Conway Regional at Coastal Carolina. So,
and FSU is in a delay route. Apparently, terrible weather in tally, they are tied right now 2-2 against Bethune.
Really? Okay, wow.
And
okay.
Miami is up 5-3 in the 7th against Alabama. And Georgia's winning 16-2 in their game.
All right, great stuff. And what about the Braves? Yeah.
The Braves finally won a game. They split a doubleheader yesterday, but A.J. Smith-Shawver is going to have Tommy John surgery. So it's like even when they win a game, they lose somehow. It's just been a terrible season. Man.
Yeah. All righty. Now this.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Rick Ballou, kind enough to stop by for a couple minutes and talk with us.
Chris Sale, man. Boston just gave him away.
Yeah.
Mookie Betts, Chris said, "This come and take him."
Yeah.
And he's the youngest to ever hit 2,500 career strikeouts, not in age, but in innings pitched. Can you imagine where he would be if he did not get injured?
Yeah. It's a great point.
I mean,
he missed like 4 years of his career.
Right.
Like.
I mean, there used to be a time, like we have magic numbers, 3,000 hits, 500 home runs. But there was a time in Major League Baseball where if you had 3,000 or more strikeouts, you were automatically in the Hall of Fame. And now there are two that stick out who are not. That's Roger Clemens and Kurt Schilling. But if Chris Sale can stay healthy for, another 2-3 years, he's going to reach 3,000 career strikeouts. He's only got 141 career wins, so that's down. But, they don't always look at those numbers anymore. It's more about the whip and more about the WAR and stuff like that. But I always love Chris Sale because he came out of the bullpen, man, and he won that World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I remember listening to it. Yeah, it was like bizarre. In London, the time change, but I just couldn't go to bed, man. I had to listen to that. So
absolutely.
It was good a few years ago. Yeah, no doubt.
Did you get a chance to watch The Hunt?
I did. I watched parts of it. I didn't watch it exclusively. I had too many things going on, but, it was just the excitement value is, I'm sure they're selling season tickets based on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just, it feels like, really everything is starting to come together with this football team. So I'm excited about next week as we get two opportunities on both Monday and Thursday to go out there and take a look at them.
And an earlier change. Were you surprised that Liam Cohen adjusted the schedule to get them out of the heat?
I need to talk with Liam about that, man. He went to the University of Massachusetts. He's got to know what it's like to be out late at night, then go through the zoo maze. 8:50, man. That's what I'm getting. I have a blonde in one arm and a brunette in the other at 8:50 in the morning. So that's totally going to change my life around.
Yeah.
So that's my only complaint. But no, it's still going to be hot. But as we discussed, I think the two mini camps are the hottest that I can ever remember. They have had a training camp feel. They've been that hot the last couple weeks.
Yeah. What's coming up tonight?
We're going to talk with our colleague Matt Hayes. The whole mess that is trying to figure out not only the future of the college football playoff, which I like, but is it going to be the SEC? Is it going to be the Big Ten? Does he see them eventually getting completely out from the NCAA? And what's this going to do for college football? So we have that to get into tonight, and also an interesting topic of teams that have never been to the Super Bowl, which involves the Jaguars, which I got from CBS Sports. I always credit where I get stuff, but I've taken it even lengthier, if you will, if that's a word. And I think we're going to have some fun with it.
Awesome.
I think our listeners will have fun with it.
I'll be having fun, too.
You get your ears lowered?
No, I had the skin kind of. I had a Mohs surgery like 10 days ago.
You almost died then.
Well, I made it.
I was going to say, you look good.
Yeah,
you lost all this weight. You got a new haircut.
Yeah.
Hayes Carline, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go, 2025. Rick, thanks so much. We'll be listening. That's going to do it for us. Frank comes back on Monday. Once again, want to congratulate all the students for making it through another academic year. And once again, thank you to all the teachers for everything you do. Hope you have a wonderful summer. For Frank, for JJ, I am Hayes Carline. Have a wonderful night. Into the night with Rick Ballou up next on 1010XL 92.5 FM.